Hey everybody, this is Mr. Ainsworth. We're going to get into Mastery 1, solving equations here in Math 90. All right, elementary algebra, here we go. All right, get a red pen out, okay, and do all your corrections in red. Okay, red pen, all right, for all corrections. And uh, remember, this is a video too. So remember, pause, play, rewind. If I could do fast, pause it, rewind it, do whatever it takes. Do all your corrections in red, go at your own pace, and do not erase your mistakes, okay? Do not, all right, erase mistakes, okay? Find them, acknowledge them, correct them, and get better. All right, so do not erase mistakes. Just correct it off to the side, and find out what you know and what you don't know. That's the important thing. All right, so let's get started. Here we go. Going over the basics first. We got negative 6x equals 12. Negative 6x means negative 6 times x. So you do the inverse, which is dividing by negative 6. All right, and what do you get? You get x equals a negative 2. Okay, take your answer, substitute it back to check. Substitute to check. All right, and guess what? Negative 6 times negative 2 equals positive 12. All right, negative 6 times negative 2, that equals positive 12. And so you know your answer makes sense. On this one here, you got negative 4 plus p equals negative 24. Let's go ahead and add the opposite to both sides. Notice that I did it on the left and on the right, okay? So I get p is equal to negative 20 here. All right, take your answer, substitute it back, and check. Negative 4 plus negative 20 is negative 24. A negative plus a negative is a bigger negative. All right, so always substitute it back in to check. Next one, n minus 10 equals negative 30. Go ahead and add the opposite. All right, and we get n equals negative 20. And then take that back in and check. Negative 20 minus 10 more equals negative 30. Negative 20 minus 10 more, that equals negative 30. And there's your check. All right, next one, you got to take a number divided by 11 equals negative 20. That inverse of dividing is multiplying. So let's go ahead and multiply by 11, okay, on both sides. All right, negative 11 times 20 is a negative 220, okay, and that equals x here. All right, and we are cruising. All right, let's keep going. Now, on the proportions, all right, as I said in class, you want to cross multiply, all right, okay, and divide is a two-step procedure for all proportions. Step 1, cross multiply. So here we go. We're going to take a times 4 and set it equal to 2 times 7, or 7 times 2. 4a equals 7 times 2, and that gives you 4a equals 14. Let me write it over here. I get a little bit more room. All right, divide by 4 because it's being multiplied. All right, always do the inverse. The inverse of multiplying is dividing. All right, what do you get? Well, you get a is equal to 14 fourths. 14 divided by 4 divides 3 times, remainder 2. All right, so you get 3 and 2 fourths. Okay, always simplify and you get 3 and 1/2. Okay, same thing on the next one here. You want to cross multiply and see what's going on. It doesn't matter which one you start with either. So 4 times n is equal to 7 times 8. All right, so 4n equals 56. Divide by 4. All right, and you get, oh my gosh, you get 14. So n is equal to 14. All right, let's deal with a little distributive property here. So we're going to distribute through. So we get 86. All right, is equal to 8, all right, minus 6n. Negative 6 times n is negative 6n. And be careful here, a negative times a negative is a positive, so make sure you write down plus 36. Now, we got to clean up a little bit. We got some like terms here, okay? So you got 86 on the left, and 8 plus 36 is 44. Bring down the minus 6n. So notice that I combined like terms there, so let's write that down in that margin. Combine like terms. All right, always do that. Okay, now add the opposite. The opposite of a 44 is a negative 44. Okay, 86 minus 44 is 42, and that equals negative 6n. And if you know that 6 times 7 is 42, then this answer has to be negative, because a negative times a negative is a positive. Okay, or you can divide by negative 6, and negative 42 divided by negative 6 is negative 7. So n equals negative 7. All right, we're trucking. Let's do another one. So distributing through a couple times. Again, this is all about distributive property, or distributing twice. Distributing twice, okay, on both of these examples here. Okay, so 3 times 5 and 3 times 3k. So 3 times 5 is 15, 3 times 3k is 9k, and that's equal to 87. Add the opposite a little bit here. Opposite of a negative is a positive. Or you can think subtraction, either one. Anyways, these cancel out, and you get 9k is equal to 87 minus 15, which is 72. All right. Since 9 times 8 is 72, it better be 8. All right. So write down k equals 8. Or if you want, you can divide by 9, and 72 divided by 9 is still 8. Okay. Or you can just think about it. All right. Okay, now let's distribute. Ooh, distributing twice. Okay, so here we go first. So distributing the negative 3 twice. So you got negative 41 is equal to negative 3x minus 6, distributing twice. Now distributing this twice, you get negative 4x here and a positive 14, because you got to distribute the negative times a negative. Okay, now we have some like terms. I got the variable terms in blue. I've got some constants in yellow. Okay, so check them out. You got negative 41. A negative 3x and a negative 4x is a negative 7x. Let's color code things so you can keep track of it here. You combine your like terms. Okay, and then you've got to take the minus 6 and the 14, or the 14 minus 6, and that's positive 8. Okay, so notice that I combine the constants. 14 minus 6 is usually 8, especially today. All right, now add the opposite again. And I get a negative plus a negative is a bigger negative, so negative 49 here is equal to negative 7x. So negative 7 times 7 is negative 49, so the answer is 7, okay? Or if you like, what you can do is you can divide by negative 7 if you like. The answer is still 7, okay? 7 times negative 7 is 49. Oops, that should be an x right there, okay? All right. And that's how it is done, my friends. All right. So let's do another one. So let's distribute through here twice. You get 14r minus 14. Distributing the 3 twice, you get plus 15 minus 9r. Okay, now you got to gather the like terms again. So focus in on your constants, and then, variable terms in yellow, and then focus in on your constants right here. So you get negative 9 is equal to 14r minus 9r, that's 5r. 14 minus 9 is 5, right? And then minus 14 plus 15 is the same thing as 15 minus 14, which is obviously 1. Okay, add the opposite. You get negative 10 is equal to 5 times r. 5 times negative 2 is negative 10, so the answer is negative 2. Or you can divide by 5, you'll still get negative 2 in the end. Okay? Now I may be going a little bit too fast, so you have what's called a pause, play, and rewind feature on your video, so go ahead and use it to your advantage, all right, and correct your work. All right, next one here, we're going to distribute again, so we get negative 7n plus 5 minus 35n. Okay, and that equals negative 40 plus 3n. All right, so we want to clean this up a little bit, so we're going to add our like terms right here. Negative 7 and minus 35 is a negative 42n. And then I'm going to bring down the constant 5, and then set it to negative 40 plus 3n. I got variables on both sides, so I'm going to collect them on one side. So I'm going to subtract 3n on both sides. And I get a negative 45n plus 5 is equal to negative 40. Then I got to subtract 5, because again, it's the opposite of a 5, right? 5 minus 5 cancels out. That's the only way it makes sense. And you get negative 45n is equal to negative 45. And just think about it now. Negative 45 times 1 is negative 45, so the answer is 1. Think, okay? Think about what you're doing. All right. On this one here, you want to distribute. You get negative 40 here times, and then negative 5 times 8r is a negative 40r again. Okay, a negative times a positive negative. Or you can write it as minus 40r, either one. Equals a negative 8r minus 40. We got to balance this out. So we're going to add 8r to this side, add 8r to this side. You know, it can be done multiple ways, but this is one way of many. These cancel. Negative 40 plus, let me see, a negative plus an a is a bigger negative. So negative 48r. Bring down the minus 40. Add the opposite. Add the opposite. You get negative 48r equals 0. Okay, divide by negative 48, or just think about it. Actually, let's think about it here. What number times negative 48 gives you 0? And the answer is 0, okay? R has to be 0. But even if you divide by negative 48, you're still going to get 0. R equals 0 divided by negative 48, which is a whopping 0. So once again, you got to think about what you're doing. Okay, and that answer makes sense, by the way. So if you substitute it back right here and also right here, these terms right here, where you substitute zeroing for r, these would cancel out. That's what happens when you substitute 0 in there. And you get negative 40 equals negative 40. So the answer makes sense. I'm going to take that away. All right, so you can check your work if you like. All right, and that's how it is done, my friends. So don't erase your mistakes, learn from your mistakes, and try to practice and get better. All right, because the test is right around the corner and your final. So get prepared, and I'll see you in my next mastery lesson. Bye-bye.